What is up, you guys? It's Let's Brick It Out once again with the Vickie Vypre spaceship, and today I'm going to focus on how the wings are put together. Really cool episode. I think you'll learn something. Roll that intro. Well, here we are. Wings, 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 wings. This is what I'll be reviewing is the tail. And here is one of the wings. This is the side that faces the spaceship. And I'll be going through some of the tricks and techniques that go into this. I'm so excited. The first thing I want to point out is this little bit right here. This connection right here. And the reason is, if you look at this large aircraft tail that I'm using, it faces studs toward the body. So one problem is there's only 4 studs that's got to hold the weight of this entire wing, which is pretty tricky. And to increase the footprint as best as I could, and to reverse the stud direction, I'm going to use a clip and bar method. So the first thing I'm going to do is take these awesome pieces. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of these used today. It's by one plate. It's got a projection coming off, and you can see it's like an Apollo stud, but it's got a stud facing both ways. This has been around for a while. I remember seeing these show up in classic space back in the day, and super excited when these first came out. But what I'm going to do is put that in, and then I'm going to ram one of these 6-bar umbrella stand pieces in there. And sometimes to get it the right length, I have to press it back down against the plate. This is going to be an incredibly tight fit. And one tip or trick is that if you use new pieces, they're going to have a better clutch against the tail there. So let me use my iron hands here to get that all sorted. There we go. Yeah, okay. So to increase the 4-stud footprint, reverse it and make sure that it at least binds to the body as best as possible. I'm going to go ahead and do a little trick where, do you see how it studs facing inward? Well, I'm going to cap that with a little tile, 2x2 tile there. And then I'm going to come in and using the clips, the 2 clips, I'm going to grab on to these bars as best as I can. Let's wait for that satisfying click. Here we go. And there you can see this is now roughly flush. And because of the tail pokes out and hits that plate, or sorry, that tile, I know I have to squish this just a little further back. I'm telling you, a millimeter or 2 will make a big difference in this build. So trying to get everything lined up takes a while. This is part of the pain of building high tolerance mocks. Man, that is not going in. Flush. There we go. All right, so here we go. Got everything worked out so that now I can come in, squeeze that, lock it into this main body, and I'll put the tiles in first. All right, so I have a series of tiles just to clean up all the studs facing on the outside with another curved slope. This is 3 plates high or 1 brick. That's why I love to use plates. Once again, alternating for strength, overlapping. And then I have another tail just on there going the reverse direction because it's a nice look. But now I've locked in these guys and given it a broad footprint. So when I attach the wing to the body, through this bar element, I've reversed it, but also I've given it a 2x4 stud pattern to really hold on. So now the only difficulty that makes this want to fall apart is still the weight is pretty much carrying through these 4 studs, but because it's resting, as the weight comes down, this part of the wing element will rest on those studs just a touch. So this is a fragile connection. This is why I can't swoosh it really fast. But overall, it works out pretty well if you have new pieces. And I wouldn't shake this really hard once I get the weight going. So now I've got the wing going and it's facing studs that way. But if you notice, I want to do a reversal. And the way I'm doing that is those same plates with the 2 Apollo studs facing outwards. I've worked them into the tail element using a brick in here 1x1 round. I just went with translucent just because I like the look. But the math works out where you can have 1, 2, 3, 4 plates in between these. And there's a pattern then, and by having all of these studs facing outwards, I can then reverse lock these end to end. Now the problem is when I use these guys, there's now a plate sticking out, and so to cheat it, I went ahead and put the bricks between them, but also the bricks that I put between are snot bricks. So check that out. The math works out just right to where the snot bricks will stud into a plate that I can then surface with the magenta tiles to clean up the studs. 1x2 curved slope, aka a bow, transitioning into another bow facing outwards. And here's another great trick. So that is an Apollo stud. And to reverse from a tube into a stud facing outwards, I have this little teeny piece that's used as a wheel rim. Okay, and these wheel rims, as long as you have an Apollo stud or a hollow center, it can fit that little nib in, and the other half is just the diameter of a stud. So this element then becomes a stud in both directions without a plate. And I can lock it in like that. So reversing the directions, going stud outwards, gives me that little bit of curve. And here I have the 1x1 plates with the clips facing vertically up. I love using Pegasus wings. I think it's a nice little style point. Adds something where magic and science and technology are working together. And starting to get into the medium azure, just because. If I take that, oops, I forgot, I should have capped this with a plate. So there you go. If I do that and crush it down really well, that's how I make the wing. Okay, so using that plate with the 2 Apollo studs on each end allows me to bind that together, but then I have to clean it up with this edge. I think it's kind of fat and thick. I really wish they'd mold just an Apollo stud with 2 positive studs facing outwards. It would make life a lot easier, but they don't. And then using that wheel piece to reverse the direction is another little tip there. Next is the greeble. This is where I have a lot of circular pieces. There's your standard classic space bracket, which is a 2x2 bracket. Just cylinders, mixing it up with a gold cylinder piece with ridges, then a flower element, and then a pink bucket, because everybody loves pink buckets. Silver piece, once again metallic, going into an ice cream cone. So this is using just the bar end of the ice cream cone, tucked right in there, to a translucent flower piece. I don't know what this is, kind of like the end of a big cup. Going into a stud, another translucent pink cone, and then using the magic wand and forcing the bar further in so that it has a little protrusion, and that gives you the reversal to face the dish going outwards. And I guess if this is a pew-pew, it'd be shooting magic, and magic wands are pretty much the unstoppable creative weapon in the universe. So there you go. Now I have 2 wings. That's pretty awesome. One more time. There's the pink bucket, flower, metallics, ice cream cone, more flowers, the reversal, magic wand. There's all the clutch going together. These will wind up going on the body. For the tail, I wanted Vickie Vypres tend to have really large, massive rear tails, so I just wanted to lean into that. I was thinking, what's the largest tail I can throw together? So once again, another one of these big aircraft tails, another aircraft tail, and another aircraft tail, all layered up. So 1, 2, 3. I've also put some foil decals on there, and I custom cut them. I like using stickers that are asymmetric, so a little bit of leftover. And on the other side, if you notice, it's on the bottom there, and then I flip it and decorate the top. So I think that's a good look, no matter which direction you're looking for. As far as a trick, you guessed it, I'm doing a reversal once again, using those same concepts. Only this time, these guys are facing in opposite directions, so it's not a perfect fit. It's, you know, a little bit off, but here I have that facing stud that way, that facing stud that way, and to do it, I did the same trick. An Apollo stud, that wheel hub, Apollo stud, so now I get a stud going out both directions, connected in. You can see these are tilting in a touch. They're not quite fully connected, but they're close enough for the eye. Going into the 1x1 brick, finishing off with a slope element, and from here, using the candlestick. I talked about that in another show. There is the candlestick element, and once again, it's like having a Apollo stud with a bar protruding outwards instead of a stud. And that goes right into the hilt of a lightsaber blade in white, going into transparent purple cone, and these are épées. These are minifigure épée swords, so for fencing. But I think they make great antennas. Always looking for more detail that I can squeeze out of something. And if I do that and line it up, that's going to lock in there. There's a little bit of negative space down here, but most people don't see it because you're hiding it from their field of view, unless you really crawl under the table and take a look up. So that's a little bit of magic, is watch your, it's not that angle sensitive, as a magician would say. Looks great, big tail. Couple of tricks. So I've used a couple elements to my advantage. Once again, the Apollo studs, that wheel hub, getting the reversal, using the plate with the two Apollo studs on the side to my advantage. Over there, clip and bar, the reversal there. And yeah, that's about 3-4 hints, tricks, tips. Hopefully this makes your building better and you learn something great. So have a great day, and I'll see you later. Woo! And there we are, another instructional video down. Have a great day and play well.